by his. You're going to hear from Dana Perino, Greg Gutfeld, and many more. But first, I'm joined from Alaska by Fox News contributor, Governor Sarah Palin. Governor, welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. All
right. First of all, 9 points advantage. They outpoll Democrats to Republicans. The headline is dead even, 47-47. Seems to me that my conclusion of this is that, well, Mitt Romney's looking pretty good in that poll.
Well, he is, and the more time that Mitt Romney has to get his message out, the better it is for him. When voters start understanding that middle-class families have seen a decimation of their net worth to the tune of 40% under Barack Obama, and monumental fiscal failures are really the hallmark of this administration, the more time that Mitt Romney has to get those facts out there, the more you'll see the polls change.
Yeah, with that 9-point split, by the way, when you break it down, there was a 7-point split in 2008. In other words, this polling sample used by the Washington Post assumes the Democratic advantage over Republicans in turnout in 2012 will be 20% better than it was in 2008. Do you think this is purposefully manipulative of the media to put out something like this?
No question. Absolutely. And that's par for the course, though, with the manipulation of the media's message. And, you know, like they did 4 years ago, Sean, they chose their one, and they did all that they could to usher him into the White House. We're going to see the same tactics this go around. And I think voters, though, are wiser, perhaps, this go around in understanding that the media does manipulate information. The filter that the media is something that a politician, a candidate, has to be extremely astute in kind of decimating that filter and getting through it so that the public has the correct information.
All right. The way I see it, Governor, and tell me if you agree or disagree, it seems that the president and his campaign have decided on 3 areas of attack. They're going to smear. And the words, quote, kill Romney is what their strategy has been. So they're going to smear Romney. They're going to use class warfare. And the president also has now decided he wants this to be about taxes. And it's sort of joined with the class warfare issue. Do you think the president has a chance? Every Democratic president that has won in the modern era, Bill Clinton, for example, and even President Obama hid his radicalism in 2008. They didn't run hard left. Do you think the president can win using class warfare?
Well, the more people that he has feeding out of his hands, the better it is for him, of course. And when you consider that 50% of Americans aren't paying taxes and they are so reliant upon the government for their income and for benefits, that bodes well for the extreme left who wants to grow government and take away people's freedoms and entrepreneurial spirit and work ethic. That's what this is all about. So the more people who are reliant on Barack Obama and the Democrats, the better it is for them. But no, as President Clinton, as Barack Obama had even said just a few years ago, that increasing taxes at a time of economic woe is the worst thing that you can do. And yet he's flip-flopped on that along with so many other issues, and now decides that he will increase taxes, allowing the Bush tax extensions to expire. And that's going to really negatively affect our small businesses, which, of course, is the economic backbone of this country.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting because Carter in '76, Clinton in 1992, they ran as Southern governors, you know, blue dog Democrats, if you will. And Obama didn't, he did a good job with the help of the media of hiding his radicalism. Let me go to the attack smear issues. This is the very latest attack, and it's actually amusing, because you can see that all the Democratic operatives on all the Sunday shows, they memorize the same lines and they regurgitate them. But I want to ask you how you would respond if you were advising the Romney campaign. Let's roll the tape.
I'd really like to see Mitt Romney release more than 1 year of tax records, because there's been disturbing reports recently that he's got a Bermuda corporation, a secretive Bermuda corporation that no one knows anything about, investments in the Caymans, investments in, he's got a Swiss bank account.
You either get a Swiss bank account to conceal what you're doing, or you believe the Swiss franc is stronger than the American dollar.
I've never known of a Swiss bank account to build an American bridge, a Swiss bank account to create American jobs, or Swiss bank accounts to rebuild the levees to protect the people of New Orleans. That's not an economic strategy for moving our country forward.
Quite frankly, he offshores most of his own personal investments, presumably to shield them from taxes.
We just learned the other day, Jeff, from the Associated Press that Governor Romney has this Bermuda business, and he transferred it to his wife's ownership the day before he became governor of Massachusetts, so he wouldn't have to put it on an ethics form. This is the most secretive candidate since Richard Nixon.
All right, so they can't talk about the president's record. This is the latest distraction: war on women, the dog, Bain Capital. Do you think the Romney campaign should respond to all of this?
You know, I think that Governor Romney should vigorously defend his record and the fiscal decisions that he's made as a private citizen and with his private company. But we need to remember, and Romney needs to remind the public and the media that his private bank accounts are not the problem. That is not what is causing the economic demise of this country. It is what Barack Obama believes and then makes manifest in our economy with the failed monumental failures that kind of replicate the socialist nations that he seems to want to emulate.
You know, it's funny, though, because it seems, do you remember when Ronald Reagan said, well, there you go again? It seems that they're so desperate they'll say anything at this point because they can't again run on their record. Let me give you an example. And I think by the time October comes around, you know, people will be rolling their eyes because it's so transparent what they're trying to do when the president is willing to go this far and make things up about his opponent.
This congressional Republican budget is something different altogether. It is a Trojan horse. It is thinly veiled social Darwinism. My plan says we're going to put teachers back in the classroom, construction workers back to work rebuilding America. And then you got their plan, which is let's have dirtier air, dirtier water. Who are these 50 million Americans? Many are somebody's grandparents. Some are middle-class families who have children with autism or Down syndrome. These are the Americans we'd be telling to fend for themselves.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Doesn't that reek of desperation, Governor, to you?
Well, it does. Consider the source, though, Sean. I mean, read Barack Obama's autobiographies that he wrote before he accomplished anything, the 2 books. He made up things in his books, and the media, by the way, didn't vet him and let him get away with it. Composite girlfriends and composite experiences that shaped him. So, you know, it should be no surprise, no wonder that he makes things up today, and the lapdogs in the media, they go along with him. But, you know, as for that accusation of Romney not being transparent enough with his private funds and where he invests his dollars. Here is Debbie Wasserman Schultz is accusing him of not revealing more of his tax records when she's never revealed her tax records. So,
that's true.
You know, if this isn't the kettle calling the pot black or the pot calling the kettle black, then I don't know what is. And really, if it weren't so insanely hypocritical, all of this would be laughable.
Yeah, and of course, I'd like to see the president's college records, and maybe we can get some information of the parents of Brian Terry on the Fast and Furious. But, Governor, stay right there. We got to take a break. And I had an interview earlier today with Governor Romney, and he had some very harsh words for President Obama. We'll get Governor Palin to comment when we get back. And then later, one brave mayor is taking on unions in his